information itself about the waves under the ocean, where did that information come from in the very beginning? Did it come from a god? Did it come from a god, or did it come from Muhammad?
I'm talking about the people that did the research.
The passage itself in the Quran,
Okay.
that information about waves under the ocean, where did that information come from?
Okay, and I'm talking to you about people
where did it come from?
Research.
That passage in the Quran, where did that information come from?
Yeah, and I'm talking to you about people who did the research.
Where did that come from?
And I'm talking to you about the people who did the research.
People that did the research.
Yeah.
Now, the people that did the research.
Yes, what about them? You have a question about that?
About them, yeah. What about them?
They did research and they found out that there are waves under the water.
They did. And then what?
So who makes more sense?
Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Who is making more sense, you or me?
Yeah, who makes more sense?
You or me or they or the people in the audience right now, or
the people that did the research?
The research on what?
Like, are you slow or something, or are you doing papers, or?
I'm trying to follow what you're saying. I'm latched on. I'm listening to every word you're saying.
Okay. We'll take it slow, since do you know any information whether it's true or not that there are waves under the water?
Unsure about that. I'm not an oceanographer or anything like that. If you say it's true and it agrees with the Quran, cool. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so now what?
Now where are we at?
Yeah. What can you conclude?
What can I conclude? I can find a verse in the Bible that scientists have researched and shown that proves this verse in the Bible is true. Now what?
Okay, show me.
Call up a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that scientifically that we found shows that there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that's true. Now,
okay.
Tell me the verse. Show me that. Then now what?
Yeah.
Now where? Yeah.
Okay, show me the verse in the Bible.
That the Quran is a book of science, or is it just happens to have a few scientific facts or historical facts, the prophecies, or
have a question for me?
Either of you, because
me? Yeah, I would say that there's lots of verses or things. Welcome, sorry, Abdullah. Yeah, welcome. You can come back on that stage. Yeah, I would say that there are many verses in different holy books, but yes, in the Quran that are going to agree with science, sure. And what does that really say? Does that say it's a scientific book? No. Does it say that it makes statements that agree with science? Sure. Yeah. These are just sort of either things that are by coincidence or people can guess at stuff like back in the past. People could have made educated guesses or hypotheses back in the past that now can turn out to be correct and true. If 2,000 years ago I made a guess about, like if I can understand that there's different grades of water, like salt water is denser than regular water, and like I can tell via my understanding of the universe, I don't have to dive down into the ocean. I can just see with my own eyes that water will separate, that salt water will go down to the bottom and non-salt water will sit up at the top. And that's just common sense. That's just anybody 2,000 years ago could know this information. It didn't come from a god or anything like that. It's just people knew this stuff in the past. And then it gets written down or talked about. And then now 2,000 years later, we prove it. We show that it's true true scientifically. That doesn't give any weight or merit to any of this stuff. It just shows that people back then were aware enough, smart enough, to be making sort of things and statements that were scientifically literate, like today, right? Like basic stuff, common sense stuff.
Yeah, Mark, that was beautiful. Thank you. You see how I didn't interrupt you? It'll be great if you can give me the verse about the Bible, the scientific proof there.
Sure, yeah. There are many of them out there for the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. You can take your pick with any sort of holy book and you can skim through it, and there will be passages that will align with reality today. You can kind of pick it out and go, yeah, that's true today. And at least not only is it true today, but it's scientifically true, i.e. like it's backed up with science. And this goes to all holy books. It's not just the Bible. It goes to all of them.
Okay, let me know when you have one.
They're all out there, so yeah.
Okay, are you gonna provide one?
Not really, because I mean they're all out there. I mean, for any book, there's at least a handful of them you can pick up.
Alright.
So
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
no worries. Yeah, no worries.
Sister Moon, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, just working and fasting.
Oh, nice. Getting ready now.
Yes, I haven't fasted in like 2 months. It's not too bad though.
Yeah, because the sun's going down a bit early, right?
Yeah, and right now it's like 1:30, so I've got like 4 more hours, I think.
Yeah, it's not bad. And the summer is crazy.
I've heard about it, but I have not experienced the summertime.
Oh, sun's going down 9:30. In some areas, depending where you are, you know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what time does it fasting start in the summer?
I think it depends. 4 o'clock, 4 a.m.
Alhamdulillah, last year was my first Ramadan. Now I'm building up. Actually, it's getting easier, but then it'll start getting harder.
Yeah. Yeah, inshallah, we get to be there for Ramadan. The brothers, they were just here. They went ahead and opened a TikTok room.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they put a link somewhere.
I went there. They're talking to a Christian, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about TikTok. Like, I feel like TikTok is like such a big space, you know, where like a bunch of people could come across, and it's not like Clubhouse.
Yes, exactly. You gotta really monitor the comments on TikTok too if you have a bunch of people.
Imagine your manager sees you. Hey, aren't you supposed to be working? I see you here debating.
The first movement of TikTok was really successful, but the Ahmadis, is that what they're called? They came. It was like 3 or 4 of them. And a Muslim brother like realized who they were and came and warned us, and then he brought all of his friends, and so we made more friends. And he told us like how to refute the Ahmadis.
Little Jude in the chat room says, "What is Islam? Islam is a satanic movement posing as a religion, using the name of God to deceive people and gain global dominance." Real truth, we know that's just a lie. But he came in, spammed, and ran away, because that's what people do.
Oh, he wanted to come on stage, but we didn't let him. Okay.
Oh, that's in the chat. Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Let's just grub any sort of dissertation, any kind of disagreement about the Quran, and just get rid of it.
I don't understand the chat anymore. Like, there's all these like join this room, join that room. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
this chat, you see how it says, "Oh, this person joined Clubhouse. Send them a quick." Like, I wonder like how these messages keep coming up.
Oh, I don't know.
So everybody knows.
Hello,
This
Alan
guy,
Moon.
Congressman Kitover, is a lunatic. This guy's crazy.
Excuse me?
Thank you, Mark.
I think you might be I think you might be projecting. I have a very simple question. Excuse me, Mark?
Crazy man, you're a lunatic.
Oh,
You're
you
crazy.
might be projecting.
You're a wackadoodle.
All right. Well, it's your opinion, and
Congress, what's going on?
yeah, I just have a question. If you could tell me what the word Islam means, and also if you could tell me what the word Muhammad means. Thank you.
I mean, okay, you can do a quick Google search. Let me do it for you. 1 second.
For him to do a Google search because he's too wackadoodle in his brain.
Okay, so Islam, the religion of Muslims, a monotheistic faith regarded as revealed through Muhammad as the prophet of Allah. Okay, is that good enough or?
Yeah, and what is
It's not
Allah?
good enough for him.
Excuse me, Mark, if you could please stop being rude, I'm sure everybody would appreciate it. If you want to hold all of your personal attacks and ad hominem until I'm finished asking my question, because all are welcome here, please, moderators, if Mark won't go on mute, I'm going to politely ask you to mute him for his own good. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I asked you what does Islam mean and what does Muhammad mean, and you gave me a sentence, but you didn't tell me their meanings. And secondly, I just want to ask you a third question. Please mute your mic, Mark. Mute your mic. Excuse me. But I'm asking the moderators to please mute Mark until I'm finished speaking. I don't interrupt other people. I politely speak with other people, and I want people to know what I mean without being mean. Please, moderators, if you could please mute Mark or move him to the goo until I'm finished speaking. I don't want to be mean. He's done nothing but insulted me. Please, moderators, I have a question. I'm asking you, what does the word Muhammad mean? What does the word Islam mean? And what does the word Allah mean? Those are my three questions for you. I'm going on mute. Thank you very much for staying quiet, Mark. I appreciate you, Mark. Now I appreciate your silence, Mark. Again, the three questions are, explain to me the three words Muhammad, Islam, and Allah. Thank you very much. I'm going on mute now.
Because you don't make any sense.
He's a crazy person. When you have a conversation with him, he rings a bell in the background. You hear him recording conversations, and then he gets into rooms where he plays these conversations, these arguments in rooms to nobody. He's a confusing, sad, crazy person.
Yeah, he does sound crazy.
He was angry with me too. Finally, I fixed that a little bit. We now communicate, we talk. I got 4 children by 3 different women. Child support. I live in a hotel. You know what I'm saying? I do Uber.
Yes.
So yeah, I need lots of help. I got child support. $91,000 in debt because I was homeless for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when people sit up and they're complaining or whatever, I work 7 days a week. I get up every single day. I'm tired too.
Yes.
So yeah, I need lots of help. I try to get this T-shirt thing going. You need money. You need resources. You need help. When people thinking that you're always trying to swing.
Is that's what's interesting to me is not so much like where she landed, how she got there. And if she can take me along that path and she can explain it.
You're there on when you're going to become one with God. But I land there.
Thank you for that, brother. That was beautiful. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Yes, moderator. This is Congressman. Put me in the queue, please.
Can you imagine, right, that this man's ego is so high that he thinks that I would steal from him? Look, notice his language. I don't speak like that, bro. Bro, no. How many times have I been in your room, Bleedo? I don't think even 5 times, brother. Why would I steal from you? I don't look at you as someone that has supreme intelligence talking about black people, black person. Then you want to throw the word mysticism? I don't even use that word, bro. Yo, I don't even use that word. I've been on this journey way before I came on Clubhouse. To say that I didn't have this information before I
I
came on.
think you guys could come together with your beliefs, and it doesn't have to be separation. I land there.
Appreciate that. I'm not gonna argue with him. I'm done. I said what I said. He made a whole room about me with my name in the title. I've never done that. I never went in, in a room and then went in another room and put a whole other man's name in the title. I never did that. And then he made a room saying Bleedo was a reptilian, and he got Andrew believing that I'm a reptilian. So to me, it seems like he has more of a problem than I do because I don't think about him. He thought about me enough to put my name in the room and talk about me for like 20 or 30 minutes in a room. I don't do stuff like that. Talk about you for 20 to 30 minutes. We talked about you for a little bit, not 20, 30 minutes. You have reptilian characteristics, surely. Your language. We've questioned if you are even an AI. And actually, that's these are just questions that we have. These are questions.
Make a room about somebody else. That's like 100% proof that you're reptilian.
So at the same time, if you hear the whole story, then you'll see that he kicked me out of the room. And he was mad because he lost the debate. And now I can bring in a few people that are in that room, and then we'll share the story with you if you want to know the whole story, because right now you're getting it from me, you're getting it from him. But here's the thing, you're not hearing the story from the witnesses that were in the room. Once you hear the story of the witnesses, then you can say you hear the full story. I got witnesses that agree with me, and will expose this video joker. Really, I lost all respect for you, Bleedo.
But you created a snitch room? You couldn't just snitch in the comments. You had to like get some people to come in and be like, "Did you see what just happened to me?" And I don't. Straight. That's serious reptilian behavior.
You might be also a reptilian.
Wow.
The thing is that in order for me to back up my claim, I need to examine y'all underneath the microscope. Get y'all in an X-ray booth. You know what I'm saying? Once I do that, then I'll be able to back up my claim fully. Right now,
He one of them Jeffrey
this is the hypothesis.
bro. He said he want to get you in the room and put a microscope on you. That's some gay ass shit to say, bro. What type of gay shit you on? Like that meth. Leave them drugs alone, bro.
What drugs do I do? I don't even drink even one drop of wine. What drugs do I do? Give me the gun right now, bro, and watch me shoot up all the liquor stores. You think I'm a fan of drug dealers? I got, you know what I'm saying, a son. Why would I be a fan of any type of drug dealer? I'm even the enemy of CVS because they present hybrid herbalization.
Hello, moderators. Though this is a fascinating back and forth, I'd like to be put in the queue to answer which religion has the truth. This is John Kitover running for Congress in the 16th District. Put me in your queue. Thank you very little.
John Congressman!
Every man said wine, and he started naming alcohol and store and shit. I said, you're crazy, bro.
Hey, Dr. John, are you?
I'd be the enemy of alcohol. Look at how many deaths it caused. Dealing with the automobile accidents. Why wouldn't that be the death of alcohol? Look at how many families it destroys. Anybody that supports alcohol, you are my enemy. Don't think that you're not. You support alcohol, you go in there, you buy whatever you buy from them, you are my enemy. You are the enemy of humanity.
Yeah.
Because you know
Yeah,
that
mine
alcohol
too,
is
because
causing so many deaths. And you don't
I
care.
believe that.
You see that? You should get clean. That's my message.
Gotcha. So, John, did you say you were anti-racist too when you were saying you're anti-things?
Hi, I'm running for Congress in the 16th District. I definitely oppose racism. I don't believe African Americans are any dumber than any of the other clowns in the clown world. I just think people need to read books and stop talking about the books that they don't even read. Because the information you're looking for is in a book, and it will raise your intelligence. And the higher your intelligence, the quicker we will heal the world from the clown world syndicate, which is already running things. And they are actually just part of the complain gang. They are hypocrites worthy of mockery. So the unnecessary communication you are listening to right now in this room, which is wasting your life, not making you any more intelligent, that's the problem in clown world. It's the clowns that want to sit here and talk to you about racism, about identity politics. It's the losers that use religion to waste your time so they can support the ridiculous political positions. So stop voting for these people. Go to johnforcongress.com, and together we will repair America by defeating the clown world syndicate of all the losers and all the low IQ people who refuse to read books and have any understanding, any knowledge, or any comprehension of God, of Jesus Christ, the Father, even Muhammad and Allah. These people don't understand the material world. They don't understand the spiritual or psychological world. They are extremely low IQ. I have landed my plane and I am complete. Thank you all very little, especially the people who interrupted me and don't have ears. All they have is mouths and very tiny brains. I am complete. Thank you all very little. Thank you, mods. I am complete.
Weird. How
So
weird.
that is the real reptilian congressman.
Super reptilian. But it's weird to hear them say they aren't any more dumb. He didn't say anything about that they aren't dumb. He specifically wanted to say, I don't think black people are any more dumb. It's just a very
You
weird
just
way to
missed
say it.
everything he just said.
Oh, no, I agree with that. Black people, well, not you, I think that the people are too dumb. I think the people are too dumb. They don't know the book and they're too dumb.
And
And he said it for fucking 30 seconds.
Yeah, I heard
60.
I heard that too. Thank God, I heard that too. I heard that too.
I'm so glad that some of them actually hear.
Yeah, you're not. You're.
They think they're not saying it. They think they're not saying. They think it's why when they use those actual words like I'm not racist, I'm not this. That we don't hear what they're actually saying. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of a backhanded compliment, Congressman. You doing the way you phrase, about black people. It wasn't a sincere compliment. So I don't. The thing is thinking.
Excuse me, but I am black. My great 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 grandparents came out of Africa. So when I talk about black people, I'm talking about myself and my family and my lineage. And I think we all have the opportunity to have a very high IQ, but we have to read books. And until we read books and stop having conversations, no one's IQ or intelligence will ever rise from where it's at right now, which is baseline. So let's get back into the books where the intelligence is at. I am complete. Thank you all very little.
Now, Congressman, you just said your great. Might have been another great in there too.
You know,
Black.
you're in. He said, let's get back into the book.
Bro, shut the hell up, bro. I'm talking, bro. Every time I talk, you bring your ass off the mic. When I'm talking to you, I'm gonna put you down in a minute. I don't like doing that. So I'm asking Congressman. You said your great granddaddy was black, correct? Congressman, trying to vote for you right now. Can you come off the mic? Make a statement. You got black in your DNA.
Listen to
So now when he said y'all was crazy, bro.
Listen to what he said. He said they came out of Africa, which is the same way as saying, well, if you go back far enough, we all came from Africa. That's where my best friends are from.
Just trying to figure out what party he's running for, because he said like there's leadership worthy of hypocrites worthy of mockery. But I was trying to I just don't know what party he's running with. Does anybody know? Does he know?
Maybe he's just trying to become the governor of Greenland. That's what I think.
Go and type up his name, John Congressman.
Yeah, this congressman right here, he's got the Civil War flag in back of him. So if there's a PTR right there, if anybody studies that flag, then you'll see who your enemy is according to that PTR. Now, I'm not saying that he is the enemy. I'm saying that image is the enemy. If you think that image is purporting something good, it's not. That's a pirate flag. The updated Jolly Roger. Yeah. And I put in the link to back up all my claims. I I'm talking about how much money would that have been? At least 500,000, maybe more than that. That's a low number. I mean, maybe less. I don't know. 100,000 to 500,000, let's say. Money on books, right there. The most powerful law link ever to exist on the internet, hands down. And once
Make
you
sure
read
you
that,
pass
right?
the mic around, Dr. Mike, so everyone gets a chance to speak on what religion they believe is the truth.
Respectfully, at the same time, I'd like to say that link that I posted, once you study it, you will never call yourself a Creole or Creole again. You will never call yourself a white, a black, a red, or any of these colors. You'll find out about what it means to be non-descendable, what it means to give up your birthright because they corrupted your language. You'll find out about how the citizenship is an updated version of a slave ship. You'll find out about birthright theft. You'll find out about all these things, color of law. The list goes on. Taxes is criminal. Why you're a debt slave. These are the things that we are as men. We don't want to leave this for our sons and daughters. I said my piece, and I gave y'all crazy evidence. Literally, libraries.
What's up with the title of the room? Is there, because I know that this sister in the top left happens to, I believe you're Muslim, right? I'm a universalist as a Christian, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but is there anything similar to that in Islam? Is there any what does Islam say about salvation?
That's easy. Just do your good deeds and you'll don't go to the hellfire. It's 1, 2, 3.
Do you have to are there any beliefs that you have to have? Do you have, because in Christianity you would have to acknowledge the divinity of Christ. You would have to obviously be atheist and believe in God. You know what I'm saying? Obviously,
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying? Are there any beliefs that you have to hold? And
Yeah, sure. We have to believe in the prophet. Peace be upon him.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess. Can you be a Christian and go to heaven and under the framework of Islam?
We don't know. I don't know. My signal gets bad over here, so you guys will have to take over. I don't know that question.
I guess I don't think that's because I don't think that it's often sin according to the Bible. It would be a sin.
Alessandro, I can't hear you. That might be on my end, but
My bad. I guess I was saying from my understanding of Christianity, I'm sorry, let me start over. My understanding of Islam is not that you don't worship Muhammad, right? So if a Christian was to consider Muhammad, this would be a radical notion, right? I'm not saying that I believe this, but I'm just asking. If a Christian was to consider Muhammad a prophet of God, would that be enough to be considered saved according to Islam?
no.
Okay, so then what tenet of Islam is that violated? Or, yeah.
You said a Christian. Sorry, I'm late to the conversation, but a Christian who believes Jesus is God doesn't believe in the rest of the Quran. What do you mean? And also, you have to believe in angels and etc.
How do you get redeemed in Islam?
Redeemed?
Yeah, how do you get redeemed?
You worship one God.
That redeems you? Does it say that in the Quran?
So you would be saying that if you believe in the Trinity, according to Islam, according to most Islamic,
Yeah, according to the Quran, the Hadith, that's how it works. Yeah.
the Jews would be committing a sin, right, by worshiping Jesus.
Yeah,
okay, he graduated, he started studying the Bible, okay, he got average grades, maybe he graduated with honors, maybe, all these maybes, right? Maybe he barely passed, 12th grade, maybe he stayed back. All these different maybes are teaching you the Bible. This man over here, he didn't even graduate. He pretty much failed out of English. Anyways, you get my point? But this man, he got higher grades. This one got way higher than the other one. So you get my point? And my point is that now you have somebody, right, that speaks 3,000 more words than Shakespeare. He's a linguistic terminologist, okay? He is extremely high level when it comes to language. Now, you take that man and you learn the Bible from that man. Or you learn the Bible from, how do they grade us? A, B, C, D, E, F, right? That was the grading system. So there you go. Which one is correct? And the answer is, obviously, if you learn the Bible from someone who has 3,000 more words than Shakespeare and is a linguistic terminologist, high level, well known, high master scholar, that man you learn the Bible from. But nobody wants to do that. They just want to act like that man doesn't exist, or these high level, linguistic masters, 30 years. 30 years, that's the 6-time master. Every 5 years, they say, that's another master's added onto it. So he's a six-time master, linguistic terminologist. You know how high that is?
Wasn't that the guy that was didn't he do a rough dissertation on the Quran?
This man that I'm talking about, he wrote 2 books on the subject. His main focus is the Torah and the Bible. He wrote 2 books, The Judgment Upon Christianity, and he wrote Key to the Bible. That was his father. His son later on, what's up, man? Yo, what up? Yeah. Oh, my bad, y'all. So anyways, my bad, I got thrown off. Check it out, y'all. So anyways,
Which one of those guys that gave their rough dissertation on the Quran? Because I know one of them did the Bible, the Quran, and the Septuagint.
The one that I know, he didn't do. He knows the Quran, but he doesn't speak on it as much. It's not that he doesn't know it. He knows all 3 books, but he speaks mostly on the Old and New Testament. And I'll give the link in the chat if anybody's interested, and you can go over his work. Here's the thing about it. There's a lot of big words in there. So you're going to have to, okay, it was quoted by a scholar. She was pretty high level, but she wasn't no 6-time master. But anyway, she was high level, and you know what she said? To study his work, I will need 2 dictionaries, 1 for each hand. To something like that. So I just want to point that out. So then now, imagine I have that teacher. Imagine if that's my teacher. There you go. That's my point. Now, that same fact, right, is in now we're going to go to the most intelligent electrician on the planet, right? And we're going to learn from him. We're going to go to the most intelligent mathematician on the planet. Then we're going to learn from him. Then we're going to go, and we're going to support him in every way we can, because he's the most intelligent when it comes to, commerce. He's the most intelligent. Not me, I'm not the most intelligent. So now I have to go to him, and we keep going down that line. Can you guys imagine the solutions? We got Jack Fresco, one of the most intelligent, what is that? He was economist, I forget, economist, whatever he was.
John, we get the point.
You get the point, yeah.
So we get the point. The person that's the most experienced and most knowledgeable in that area, that's the one that we go to. Yeah. So so pertaining to the topic, right? Which religion has the truth? Well, the first thing you want to look for is that religion consistent, right? If contradictions or discrepancies in that religion, then you know that that religion does not have the truth, right? Because obviously everyone has their own religion, especially involving the Christian church. There has been a lot of reformations over the past years because of one's different ideology. As I brought up earlier, with Islam and Hebrew Israelism, you have people that will turn to that religion because it favors them the most, in spite of having multiple women. Specifically, there are some other religions, such as Sikhism, that derives just towards individuals' good deeds and rather not focusing on that person's what you call their life, the outcome of their life. It doesn't focus on the afterlife. But yeah, so to answer the question, I would say that the only one truth there is the one that does not have any contradictions, that's consistent from the beginning to the ending, and that is preserved. That's the truth, right? And to any religious leader or religion or movement group that does have this, that does have that, then that's the truth. That right there's the truth.
Respect your communists. At the same time, I'd like to add real quick. You know, it's not saying that I might, like, I mean, if I just went, I myself, I cited the Bible, I presented it. And then, you know, I took all the information that I gathered. No problem. That's what I did. Then I was like, well, everybody's arguing with me. Nobody agrees with me. I gotta flip the script. I gotta change my mode of presentation, of analyzation. So then now all of a sudden I start quoting from the six-time master. And now everybody's applauding me. I'm quoting from his work. That's not my work. Same thing. You see, that's what I was wanting to add to that communist. Yeah, I want to add to that. My point is that we should find the most intelligent when it comes to all the subjects. Medicine, everything. And if we do that right, guess what? Is Trump the best? No, he's not. He's not the best. Not even close. Jack Fresco is the best.
Make sure that the most intelligent have no errors.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And there you go. That's all. The thing about the people that are very intelligent when it comes to these things, they have an extremely high vocabulary. So it's hard for the normal man to even read their work. But you can do it nonetheless. You can learn. You just have to learn the vocabulary. So I posted two masters. I gave you all two links, a master and a Bible master. I'm going to give you, the next one is Jack Fresco. Now, when you listen to all three of these, and if we replaced, right now, if we replaced Donald Trump with Jack Fresco's work, example, then everybody on the earth will live for free. Because he has set up a structure, an architectural design that will present a prevention method that nobody will be able to go to war. He set it up. He's smart enough to do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. He already did it. So if we follow his teachings, right, all of us on the earth will live for free, and there'll be no homeless. And I will post that link. Three links in there for everybody that wants to learn high-level supreme knowledge. Everybody that has been given a faith or belief, these two things are your enemy. And once you acknowledge what is supreme knowledge, you will agree with me. and you will have a better life. And so I posted 3 links in the chat. Anybody has any other links that are far superior than those links, please present them. Thank you very much. This is a very high level transcendental knowledge. There's another link right there for everybody. Click on that link. Study it for 1 week. Come back and talk to me. It will change your whole life. I'm presenting supreme knowledge from all these different masters. Know the difference between real religion and pseudo religion. Know the difference between real spirituality and pseudo spirituality. And that's what I have presented. Thank you very much. I hope y'all click those links and, and spread them to everybody so that we don't have to have belief and faith anymore. Like I said, belief and faith are your enemies. They're not your friends. You believe that the gas station is 5 miles away. I believe that it's 10 miles away. He believes it's 15 miles away. And then another man comes and says, the speedometer says it's exactly 20 miles. There you go. No belief. That's 100% undebatable fact. Proven. Because of the speedometer and the 2026 Hyundai, or whatever automobile you want to put in that equation. And there you go. $12,000 different denominations in Christianity. Nobody agrees. Nobody agrees. So then the message that Jesus brought is confusing. And everybody out of those 45,000 different denominations all claim that they have the right one. And they argue. And say that they are the one that's going to hell. But nobody's going to argue, supreme knowledge. Nobody will argue that. So the only time that they can argue is because they are arguing from an ignorant platform. And ignorance is the same as faith and belief. None. You have real science and you have pseudoscience. You have to separate the two. But nowadays, a lot of what is pseudo is trying to pretend and act like it is real. And that's why we have artificial persons, we have an artificial government, we have artificial constructs worldwide. And I will leave it at that. Thank you very much. Welcome to the stage, Andrew.
Thank you, Brother Doctor. Congressman, are you there? All right. What's going on, Kindred? We've got Brother Kyle here too. Metapel, you should have came up earlier, brother.
I was interested in he said alcohol bad. Just wondering if you would elaborate.
The side effects of alcohol and what it has caused dealing with automobile accidents and destroying the family, then you will see all the evidence for yourself. And you will say alcohol is something that we should not support. And if you drink even a drop of wine, that means you support the alcohol, regardless. So you should. So if you want to put an end to all the DUIs and all of these families being broken up, I was drunk the other night that I slept with my father. Whatever, all these crazy stories we hear, then you need to you can't support that. That's the only way to destroy it. And then by destroying it, the families will come back together. We'll start hearing those stories. At least we'll start hearing them based on, I was so drunk I didn't even know. You see that? And then they get so drunk, then they drive and crash, and then there was how many babies were in the back seat when they crashed into the automobile in front of them? You see? How many deaths are caused by alcohol, drunk drivers? Alcohol is a demon, actually. It's actually, isn't that defined as a demon? If I'm correct about that. I think it is. I gotta double check my notes. But yeah, alcohol. And so Jesus, he turned water into wine. What for? Why would you do that? You support alcohol? I can't support you. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry.
I like it.
I gave you all those links. I really hope you click them. That link, these long links that I'm showing you, you know how many times his, what I call it, a website, has been attacked? As far as I know, he had to go to court even. Information that I share, a lot of this information is extremely controversial because it goes against everything that you ever learned. And when something presents itself as the better, and others, they want to keep things just the way they are. They don't want to update. They're like, nah. In this lame example, Windows 1 is fine. We don't need Windows, we can talk about Windows 10, but who cares about that? We're doing fine with Windows 1. And then they'll attack. Because they want to keep things just the way they are. And so they'll do anything to keep things like that. So then, who knows what's going to happen, y'all? Time will tell, like time tells everything. So we'll find out in the end. But, I mean, if we had the right people that are in high position, example, in government, the first thing that they would discuss if they disagreed, like many on Clubhouse, example, they would not fight and argue. Oh yeah? Watch this. I'm going to send a bomb over there right now. They would not fight and get to the point where they're so angry that they want to drop bombs on families who later the mother and father is left dead on the battlefield, and the sons and the daughters are looking over the dead corpse. You see that? So then if there was any intelligence, then they would think about our sons and daughters first. All the sons and daughters on the earth. They would think like that. And they would say, no, we have to avoid war at all lengths. And if it is the environment that is causing us, or the philosophy, or the so-called religion, or whatever it is, then we have to ban them. We have to literally take those off the earth. They can't exist anymore. Judge the results. And then once we do that, then we can come back to the attempt of trying to turn this life into a utopia. But there are steps that we have to take. Example, I got kicked out of my house the other day. Why? I couldn't pay my electric bill, so they shut me off, and then they wouldn't let me live there because I couldn't pay my electric. So now where are you? Homeless? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Really? But then all they had to do is pay for the electricity because they print the money. You print the money. You literally make the money. I receive the money that you make. So since you have the his whole family will not be on the street right now in the middle of the winter. See that? Simple solutions. Why ain't they talking about this? Because they don't care. They don't care about it. Because they just want to keep things the way they are, and they just want slavery. What else? What other answer do we have? And the evidence is clear. Dead slavery is what we have right now. And there you go, folks. Thank you very much. Andrew, if you have evidence, right, that for nearly 2,000 years, the Christians, Muslims, and the Jews have been killing each other. And you know that as soon as you take the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran out of that equation, the upcoming generation of tomorrow will be not taught that they are a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew. By doing that, we end the war. Yes, it is radical. I agree. But what could be more radical and more extreme than war itself? So if we have to just get rid of all these books that cause that, then that's what we have to do. So we should not support them. Because if we do, we support all of the sons and daughters that end up in the end looking at their mother and father, two dead corpses, as they cry eternally over their dead bodies. Can you imagine? I have seen this. It's not something that I just read about. I have seen these. How old were they? I mean, they were short. I don't know how old they were. 7, 8. Once you see that, it just does something to you. I tell you, it's not easy to look at. I had a friend of mine. He came back with post-traumatic war syndrome. He was in Iraq. He came back with that, and he was put on dead body disposal, meaning he was throwing the dead bodies into the landscaping truck. It's like a BFI dumpster, but it's a landscaping. Anyways, he was throwing the dead bodies in there, not by himself. One soldier will grab the legs, the feet. The other one will grab the hands. It was so hot over there in that desert that when they were trying to throw the bodies into the landscaping trucks, right? That the skin, it was like melting. It was sticky, and it stuck to the cuffs of their fatigues, whatever you call the army fatigue uniforms. So it was like kind of like a rubber band effect, a little bit, not like literally, like but it was like a little bit like that. So there you go, right there. Because he was, he was doing that. He came home with post-traumatic war syndrome. In the middle of the night, he wakes up. All he does is scream. That's what he does, and he does it too many times, and that's called post-traumatic war syndrome. And I was over his house, so that's why I know about it. He told me everything.
Yeah.
He told me all about it. Yeah.
There, brother. It is. That's
Yeah, that's what I said. Yep, it is. Yep.
Are you for or against Trump, Dr. John?
Decided. I can tell you this much. I heard good things about Trump, and I heard bad things about Trump. If the good things are true, I'm all for those good things. Some of the good things that I heard about Trump was that he's going to actually bring back the sovereign republic. I also heard that he's going to end the taxes. I also heard that he's going to bring back the gold standard, meaning that we're not going to be using fiat currency anymore. That, according to the Woodrow Wilson president of 1933, money is no longer backed by gold or silver. If Trump accomplishes this goal, he will be high level. He will be forever remembered, because we won't. He will completely change it. Citizenry will no longer exist. If those things I hear are correct, only if they're correct. I read this, you read that. Some will say, oh, that's propaganda, on both sides. So you see, where can I make my decision, right, Andrew? When both of them are claiming that. You see, oh, that's conspiracy theory propaganda. That's because they're pro-Republican. That's why they wrote that article. Oh, that's because they're pro-Democrat. That's why, you see? So I can only tell you, if those good things that I heard about Trump, then everybody will be like, give Trump the eternal applaud because it will change the whole economic crisis, economic structure, and everything that follows. Thank you.
Very good. Well, doctor, should we start? Should we go to another room? I think we might be running this one out, or do you want to hold it down for a bit and I'll see what I can check out and maybe.
Yeah, Drew.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good, brother. I'll catch up with you. I appreciate you, buddy. All right. Bye bye.
All right. There you go. Oh man, his name is Paul Stamets. He's talking about mushrooms can save the world. He's very high level, genius when it comes to the mycology study. So he would be on the list as like, okay, let's put it to use. But you know what the problem is? Nobody can afford it. You see what happened? People can't afford it. They don't have enough money. They're barely getting by today with the what is that called? Inflation. Yeah, because of the money, the inflation. We've been using debt instruments forever. Who knows how long? We've been using debt instruments. That's why the debt is so high, because we're not paying for anything. We're just, creating more debt. Welcome back, Shah.
Really bad in you. Anybody want to tell me what happened?
People started leaving. That's all. It's not. Nothing happened. It was fine.
If there's anybody else who would like to come up and speak on the topic, you guys can come up. We'll get a reset going. We know Dr. John doesn't really have religion, so Congress, what about you? Which religion is the truth?
Many religions Shah. But
Yes,
I have
it is.
one. Yeah. I just letting you know, like this for clarification, respectfully.
Of course. What about the Congress? Metapool, come up. Metapod, I haven't talked to you in a while. Tenex, come up. Virgil, everybody's welcome. I'm gonna be back modding. I was just really busy. Yeah, people, oh yeah, don't forget to cast your vote. With this Israelite stuff, it's really becoming more and more every day that people feel like the Bible is subjective to Israelites. Yeah. Dr. John, I understand some of your beliefs, and a belief of picking up more than one book. I know it confuses people, but I understand.
To a better woman, I am pro. I am pro that, because if you find peace in whatever you study, and you can see the differences before and after, good on you. Congratulations. Celebrate. That is my acknowledgement.
Yeah, most definitely. Welcome, Grimsonite. Is that how you say it? Grimsonite? Okay, welcome. Do you have anything you would like to add? I know I seen you on stage earlier. I was very busy. about the salvation through Christ is only for Israelites. Do you have the floor?
I've just been sitting back listening. I am a Christian myself. I think salvation is for everybody.
You said you had patience for everybody.
I think salvation is for everybody.
Oh, yes. Okay. And where do we get our salvation through?
Many Christians believe that anyone who does not receive the gospel of Jesus Christ is doomed, but that leads to the idea that if you never hear of it in this life, then you're potentially damned. But I don't think that's the case. It's everyone is. It's different for everybody. So in theory, you could end up in heaven without ever having known Jesus in this life. It all depends on whether you know, what kind of situation you're in. But no, I don't believe it's for Israel only. It's a way for Hebrew Israelites to make it seclusive so that they can make it elevate their position above the other people around it. It's I would say it's racially motivated, but there are Hebrew Israelites who believe that salvation is available for everyone.
Most definitely. And would you be happen to be a Christian?
Yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, been a Christian for about 24 years.
Okay, so with you, are you one of the Christians who believe in the Trinitarian?
Yes, ma'am. I am a Trinitarian. Since I first, although I wasn't aware of the Trinity before, it was new to me. I thought it was just God, and then He created His Son, and that was it. But then the elders at my church explained that the Son is an eternal person in the Trinity. He was incarnate in flesh, and so that's why I accepted the doctrine of the Trinity.
I like that. So are you on the same lines as our sister Cherry that's on the app, or is it a little bit different?
Yeah, very close to it. I used to be part. I mean, I still am. I go to her rooms frequently. We hold to a lot of the same ideas, although, of course, nobody has the exact same belief set exactly. But yeah, Sister Cherry from the Cross Mob. We speak out against Calvinism, against Hebrew Israelism, Islam, various pagan religions. We try to defend the Bible to the best of our ability.
And Calvinism is what again? I'm sorry.
Calvinism is, I guess you'd call it a denomination, although I would say it's more than just a denomination. It's just a belief system that holds to the core teachings of Gnostic determinism. It's a way of looking at Christianity, the teachings of Christianity, in a way that supports the idea that God had ordained or decreed for all things that have ever come to pass. So whatever happened, it's because God expressly desired it in the face of the alternative. You go outside, you get into a car accident. It was decreed by God. You go out, you get married, have a family. That was decreed by God. Everything good and everything bad is decreed by God. And the reason why people like myself and Sister Cherry and others in the Cross Mob stand against this idea is because it basically teaches a different God from what we believe is being taught in the Bible. Maybe not in substance, but in character. So essentially are worshiping the same God, which is a satanic, Gnostic determinist type of God.
Oh, so that makes sense. So would it be the same belief system as the like God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus?
Yes, Calvinists are all Trinitarians. I mean, they, unless you get into the discussion of the creative will of God, you'll a Calvinist will mask right into, you know, typical Christianity. You won't be able to tell them apart. They hold to the Trinity. They believe in the divinity of the Son. They believe in justification by faith alone, Scripture alone. You know, a lot of the same doctrines. It's just that one little quirky, one tiny difference that makes all the difference is the determinist aspect of their theology. But you know, again, we stand against it because if God decreed all things, then essentially He's the author of evil. And because Christianity can be viewed in a way in which God is not the author of evil, in other words, that He did not decree evil but simply permitted it, is what makes the biggest difference for us.
You say that more people say that in the Trinitarian like belief that God created evil?
Not all Trinitarians, just ones who are determinists. By determinism, I mean that it was determined by God for all things to happen the way they did. So there was no possibility for the alternative. That if it's a case that God decreed evil things, that makes Him the first cause for what led to that evil event coming to fruition. So non-Calvinists, just about every other denomination of Christianity, including Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodox, you know, the Anglican Church, Baptists, no one holds to what the Calvinists hold to, except for some Thomists, maybe. But what they teach is different from what the Calvinists teach. So, yeah, the Calvinists are pretty much on the fringe. This was, I mean, we used to have a lot of conversations with them in the past. This was over the past 2 years, but as of lately, it's been mostly atheists that I've been interacting with.
That makes more sense to me, I guess. I have noticed that the Trinitarians think that everything is crazy if it doesn't line up with the Holy Spirit and stuff like that.
Yeah, Trinitarians will disagree on the way in which the three persons are individualized and exactly what the relationship with what the mechanism that binds them really is like. And there's really no way for any of us to prove the other wrong, just that from the way that the concept of the Trinity is the way it's conceived is such that you can make some basic distinctions. In Eastern Orthodox, they look at the Trinity as more of three independent, or maybe they don't call it independent, but that you have three individual minds that are joined together, and that's just the way it is. So
as being tritheism or partialism, which is to say that God is made of three parts that come together to make the whole. There are problems with that. But on the other hand, the Western school of thought on the Trinity is more such that it merges the three closer together, like the idea of the filioque, that the Holy Spirit proceeds out of both the Father and the Son, and that the Son is eternally begotten from the Father, kind of like a projection, I guess you could say, like a limb, extending out of the Father. And that can also be problematic if you take it to the logical end, because then you get what's called modalism, which is to say that you have a singular entity that is changing in modes, either at one point in time or in perpetuity. And so, I mean, it's got to be a balance between the two.
Most definitely, it's got to be a balance, or it's just gonna be a whole bunch of chaos.
Right. Would you happen to be a Christian as well?
Actually, I'm Muslim.
Oh, okay. Now, I haven't had a conversation with a Muslim in quite a while. Although I must say I have had good conversations with Muslim on this app. Not very often, but surprisingly they do come up.
What do you guys disagree about?
The strongest disagreement that I'm aware of is over the divinity of Jesus. Muslims will acknowledge that Jesus was a true prophet of Allah, and that he was merely human, and that he did Allah's will. And secondarily, that he didn't actually die on the cross as is taught by Christians when they teach the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. They believe that he survived it, and he just lived out the rest of his days. And that later on Muhammad came as the next messenger of God, and the rest is history. So we disagree on that key point about God being triune in nature versus the singular God, and then you have the prophets, of which Jesus would be one, and that's pretty much it. And of course, Christians also deny that Muhammad was a prophet.
Yeah, they do. So I guess everybody is just in denial, right?
Yeah, we all hold the different positions.
And we'll never really know. Or people interpret it, that's their business. That's the whole good thing about having a belief system, is you have the right to believe what you interpret the truth is.
Yes, I do agree with that. The right to the freedom of religion, I do believe, is one of the most important rights that any society needs to have.
Get off a tire, I can pay you. I gotta take it to the place for them to put it on, but I just don't have enough strength to. One second, guys.
One of my friends.
Sorry, guys, I gotta change a tire. Sorry.
Okay.
Welcome back, Scanner. Or Scander, yeah, Scander. Assalamu alaikum. We were just talking about the Trinity and things like that, and the differences they have for Islam.
survive? Like,
It survives because I had some really great moderators. I was able to sleep and I came back, the room was building instead of being dead. So I did have some great moderators. The moderator, what's his name? Andrew was here. I had a couple other people that moderated the room really well. I'm not sure if Dr. John stayed the whole night.
multiple shifts, yeah.
So yeah, this has been a very successful room. We did switch the title. I'm thinking of switching the title again. I'm trying to get a tire change, and I'm a woman. I'm having so many issues with like normal stuff, but inshallah it'll be okay. What's funny is this the same room that was going on last night when I had a flat tire, and it's still going on while I'm trying to fix it the next day. That's a success. That's a success. So we
If
had
your
the
flat tire was caused by nail puncture, you can get that fixed for free at places like Discount Tire.
Let me take my dog back in. I'll be right back. My dog is so weird. This guy is helping me and he wants to tear his head off. That's weird. Give me 1 second to put him back.
I gave you a link just so you know. The link is from a man actually that has 3,000 more words than Shakespeare. He's a linguistic terminologist. He wrote 2 books on the subject pertaining to the Bible. So if you would like to learn about his work, I gave you the link.
Cool, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good luck.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, good afternoon.
So, as far as the topic, which religion has the truth, I feel like you do have to believe in that religion, whatever religion it may be, and you have to see it as the truth. So if you're a Christian, you should see Christianity and the things that it teaches as the truth. If you're an Israelite, you should see that religion for whatever it has, and that's the truth. If you're a Buddhist, you have to see that religion for what it is and believe the things that it is teaching as the truth. And I think you do have to believe that it's true in order for you to learn anything that religion has to teach you. Because if you didn't feel like it was true, you wouldn't learn anything.
Yeah, that's
kind of how I see it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, it's all about a belief system and what we choose to believe. So I choose to believe in Islam, and it's like, oh, a lot of people are like, well, you don't know about it, and you this and you that. And I was like, that's what I'll have to answer to when I get to, the end of my faith, my iman. Nobody else will have to answer to it. So that's why I'm so cool with everybody with their beliefs, because it only affects them.
Yeah, you kind of, like Astro was saying, that's a good point. It's you kind of have to take a gamble at it and take a leap of faith to begin with, and you begin that spiritual journey, I guess you could say, and then your life experiences start to mesh with the theology that you hold to. And of course, not everybody's journey is the same. But depending on how well that journey turns out is what determines, I think, how devoted you are to that religion, later on in life.
Yeah, and what's interesting about it too is let's take it to an extreme level.
some people who believe in a religion extremely, to where it's hurting their friendships and it's hurting their relationships with their family members and people that they care about. So what is it to say that the people who are extreme with the truth are they more righteous? Are they living the better life because they follow the religion down to the T, versus the people who believe that it's true but they don't follow it down to the T?
That's a good question. Because it really forces us to compare the different worldviews. And I don't mean just between religions. I mean even within the same religion, you have someone that's more devoted versus someone who may be more skeptical. Like personally, myself, I tend to be a skeptical person, and so I'm constantly doubting my own faith. And it's kind of like a roller coaster ride, up and down. And whenever I have a conversation about this with a Christian who's more devoted than myself, they are comfortable in saying, yeah, the laws of the laws that the Jews practiced in the ancient times in the Old Testament, they were judicious, and that it was right, and that it's God ordained, and that even if it is practiced today, it would be okay. So it's okay to kill somebody on the basis of, say, breaking the Sabbath, or something like that. And on the one hand, I feel like, well, if I'm going to be consistent with my religion, then I should say the same thing. But on the other hand, I'm skeptical, and that causes me to have a great sense of hesitation, because what if what if the whole thing's wrong? So yeah, that's a good question, because it forces us to examine just how much devotion, how much commitment should a mentally healthy person hold to any one particular religion.
Yeah, and at the same time, is it too much to say that they're extreme? You know what I mean? Maybe they're just people who just following what the word teaches. You know what I'm saying? But I think from a broad perspective, they could be seen as extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, so from the one who's committed and say they're convinced that their religion is true, and in the case of say Abraham offering Isaac to God, from Isaac's, I mean from because I'm not sure if Isaac was aware, from Abraham's point of view, it made perfect sense. He was doing the absolute good thing, and anything deviating from that would be crazy for him. But from someone who isn't familiar with his worldview, it would look at the act as being insane. Sacrificing one's own son because he thought he heard God commanding him to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, you can, both views can potentially lead you into error. When you consider the cults around the world that have risen and, have come and gone. Like, in the United States, we all know about the Heaven's Gate cult. And I believe they all believed what they thought was true really was, and they were committed to it, and they were gonna travel to that higher realm. But for the rest of us, we look at them as being deceived, maybe delusional, but not necessarily dishonest. So I guess it's a question of, how do we vet our beliefs? What is the degree to which a belief can be held in a way that's healthy to our lifestyle and to the rest of society in a way that's not potentially harmful? Should it be the case that we're wrong? So I guess the question that it boils down to is infallibilism. If you're infallibilist, then logically you should be completely committed to your religion, follow the law down to the T. But if you're not an infallibilist, then skeptical, I guess.
Yeah, but religion doesn't like skeptical people.
Right.
People who are skeptical are looked at as a bad apple. You know that skepticism is gonna rub off on other people, and now they got to figure out what to do with you because you're asking too many questions.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like a tug of war. It's a back and forth, trying to find that harmonious balance between the two so that society can function. But the same thing can happen with on the side of atheism. I know some atheists on here who are so committed to their view that the very question of intelligent design, of there being a God of some kind, is just not possible. So they are committed to their worldview, and whatever evidence that comes their way, contradicting or suggesting the idea that they might be wrong, they are forced to go into the extreme to interpret it as not being such.
Yeah, those people are extremely rational and extremely logical, and so they don't have. It's like trying to teach a fish how to walk on land. You know, and I think when it comes to some people and their beliefs, they've gotten so deep into whatever it is that they believe that they can't believe anything else.
Yeah, and another aspect to it is, of course, our pride. Many Christians and Muslims, and certainly Hebrew Israelites, will defend their faith on the basis of pride, and so they and everybody. This happens to everybody, even atheists. So whenever we can get back to whenever there's a disagreement, and at the end of the day we say, okay, well, we've had our argument. Now, are we still interested in what's true? If the truth is out there, do you and I and everyone else involved in the discussion, do we really want to know it? I can honestly say I do. I want to know the truth, even if that truth is not what I expected it or wanted it to be. And just knowing that truth will give me a sense of peace, I guess. And I sometimes wonder if all the religions, including Christianity, are just man's attempt at reconstructing a lost history of mankind that we're trying to reconstruct.
Yeah, I think, but before there was law, there was religion, and I think that's part of the reason why the couple of guys who left America, they were running away from the overall Catholic system that was in England, where everything was tied to church, and everything was tied to church. There was no church and state. Everything was just all church, and all law was tied to religion. And but I think religion gives place for order. It gives place for structure. That's why it's non-profit. That's why they don't have taxes, because it's essentially free therapy. You know what I mean? It's free therapy. It's free counseling. For people who are going through tragic things, for people out here who life is in shambles and they don't know what to do. You can walk into a church or whatever religion you want to call it, and you are walking into a whole entire community daycare system. They have a band, they have a choir. It's opportunities on top of opportunities for you to be involved within that religion. So there's a lot of power in it, but I feel like it does give structure to people who They have lost their way of living, lost their way of life, and I think law most definitely came from religion.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Exactly. All the points that you made. It gives us a sense of purpose and direction. The helps us to define meaning, and so we begin to look at life in a context where where it's our responsibility to find a role to fulfill, and we operate under a set of rules or laws that help us to achieve that objective. Yeah, it's of course, it also helps to build a cultural identity, and yeah, it serves a lot of important purposes. And I don't think even if it is the case, that's in my periods of doubt, it became obvious to me at an early point that even if my religion is wrong, or not just mine, but any particular religion that is wrong, it still has a very important utilitarian purpose in human society. And like you said, it gives order. It helps to motivate, and like you implied, faith is a very, very powerful thing. It helps us to achieve what seems to be impossible, and it gives hope in moments that seem hopeless.
Yeah, and we have a lot of things to give to religion, because honestly, if it wasn't for religion, we have so many savages out here. We have people who would kill, people who would steal, way more than what it is now. It would be crazy out here.
Yeah, that's something I have considered. I have also encountered Christians who, when the question, I didn't ask that, I was just listening to their conversation when the question was put to them, what would you do if you found out Christianity isn't true? And one person said, well, I guess I do whatever I want and just try to enjoy my life to the best of my ability. And I could tell he was being honest. And in my personal experience, that has been the central question to me as to the type of person that I am or want to be, if it's the case that Christianity is not true. And throughout the years, I have come to recognize that as a person, as somebody with the nature that I have now, like you could say what was the result of my upbringing, or mixture of the nurture and nature aspect.
Yeah, but think about the stories that we tell kids. Isn't it interesting how we let kids believe certain things aren't true? But we let that happen because we know that there's a lesson to be learned within that story that isn't true.
Right.
The stories and the fallacies and the fantasies and all the things that we let kids believe, we still need those same type of things as adults. So even if the religion isn't exactly true, the religion is still teaching a lesson at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. Like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. You teach a child to be responsible, to be aware of how to keep themselves organized, and to keep track of time. You keep your baby tooth somewhere safe. You don't lose it. Put it behind this case, a good child, and don't misbehave, and you get a good present. Now, just because Santa Claus and Tooth Fairies are not real doesn't make the lessons that come out of it any less valuable and helpful as they grow up and mature. So yeah, I agree with that completely.
I gotta get out of here. It was a good conversation. Good talking to you guys.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Okay. All right. Peace.
Put another link in the chat for anybody who wants that supreme knowledge when it comes to metaphysical science. I'm gonna put that in there. There it is. I've been enjoying this extensively. I've been enjoying this right here. That link right there that I just put. If anybody just wants to compare.
And what exactly is that information?
Transcendental knowledge. And I just ask anybody, give it a week. Just listen to that for a week. Yeah, 1 hour a day if you can, 15 minutes, whatever you can do.
Okay, so I just bought a tire from you guys. Oh, he's getting it. He already grabbed it. Oh. He must already know what I need. I couldn't get the car here because it's like down the street, so.
She might have hit the button by mistake. She's talking to she's talking to someone. I think she's talking to me. That's funny.
My bad, you guys. Like I had a blowout last night when the room was going on. And the room was getting so good. Tell me why I didn't even like go to work. I just towed it to my house and then like now I'm dealing with it today. I'm still in the same room. I'm so bad for that. Like y'all pray for me. May Allah guide me. I need my money. I should have been at work. I'm always at work. I live in California. I don't have a choice. I'll be experiencing some of that homelessness Dr. John is talking about, and we all need to get on the bandwagon to get it in order. Thank you very much.
If we had a monarch, what is it called? It's a matriarchy. That would never be discussed. Can you imagine women being homeless?
Oh, I see it all the time. And I don't like. Oh, I live in California, of course.
California's like that. They got women homeless on the street.
Oh, they have multiple shelters and all types of programs for these women. So a lot of the women here are actually lazy because of all of the resources and things that LA offers in Orange County as well. So it's kind of a weird system to where I really feel like the ones who really need the help don't really get the help because the ones who don't want to do anything for themselves don't want to give up the help, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I understand what's going on in other countries and the homelessness and the starving and all that, but that's definitely not the case here in California. Mainly, if you see someone homeless, they have chose to make very, very bad decisions over and over and over, or they have some type of mental illness, and that should also be taken very serious. But we can't let the people with mental illness take over all the homeless shelters because they are getting the benefits, but they're not exercising the benefits into building something better for their children and practicing the mindset of getting off of assistance, using assistance to get to the next level and staying consistent throughout your life. What you be talking about, John, I feel like a lot of like when you be like, okay, well, people that can't work, like the elderly, like we need to take care of these people, which we do, and I understand, but in order for us to take care of those people, we have to have our needs met as well.
That's right. Exactly.
And we all have rights as, you know, as like lower income people, we all have rights, constitutional rights of how much government assistance that we can get and what we should have, and we all should have that.
Whatever works is whatever works in the end, it seems to me. But yes, I've seen we have methadone mile in Boston. So that's
Yeah.
you know, it was similar
And
to
down
Skid Row.
here, yeah. And they
Yeah,
have, yeah, and so all of those shelters down there, let's say like me, I don't do drugs, but they have many shelters down there that can take you the next day, you know, because you're homeless, you need somewhere to sleep, but I don't do drugs. So it's like I'm not gonna fit in, and then I'm gonna be uncomfortable, and then like I'm gonna still be homeless, you know? I don't do drugs, but I can be homeless any day living in California.
Yeah. I hope that things change with the whole inflation of money, which is causing this to exist.
Yep, definitely. And that's why you always see me get up early and, you know, get my prayers in. I pray throughout the day and I stay at work because I don't want to be homeless.
Yep, I hear you. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that mindset down here, you will become homeless and you will become a burden on somebody and you will, you know, be hungry.
Yeah, it's where the citizenry has failed.
And yeah, that's what I say, Dr. John. Like, it doesn't matter what we believe in, what religion or whatever. Like, we still all have to bust our ass to survive in this economy, in this world, no matter what religion we have behind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right. The thing is that if you're ever homeless and you know you have your religion, well, you know, depending on which one you follow, I guess you could say that you have a softer pillow to lay your head on.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, and then you got your people, right, that are in that religion also that will help you, right?
I mean, they say they will, but you depend on your God to work through those people. So you never like, oh, okay, I know that this person's gonna do stuff. You just depend that you put your faith in your God, and then you just depend on Him to have people work through Him when you are in a situation like that. And it's always happened for me. Like it's happening for me now, you know? So it's just like, even since I've been Muslim, I've had a lot of tests. I've had things happen to me. Thank you. And I have to call Uber, so you can just sit it right there. I've had things happen, you know, on the freeway and all types of stuff. I was in a clubhouse room when I got pulled over one day, and everything just went fine or whatever. It's just like, thank you so much. I don't know. I think you just have to have faith in your God, and then He'll work through people. That's what I can say. Like, but no, there's never going to be some absolute character in your religion that you're going to be able to depend on. No, it's not how it works. And then when people do that, they get really upset when they realize that they can't do that, you know? Because you never know what's going on in that person's life as well. So you're not going to want to depend on your pastor or depend on your, you know, just depend on God and things will happen. It's all about faith. Oh my God, it's a lot going on out here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so that's the best thing about religion is like you do get to rest some of your worries. Because worrying can make you look old. Worrying can stress you out. So religious believers, we have a choice not to be so worried. And it's beautiful. It's the best feeling in the world. Dr. John, what do you replace religion with? Just facts?
Replace religion? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if one wanted to replace religion,
Oh, you don't want to replace religion like in your life?
I am someone who enjoys reading many religions. My goal, I mean, I shoot for the stars. If I could accomplish perhaps 10,000 different religions and know about them, at least know a little bit about each one, that'd be great.
Okay, well, I understand about knowing about them, but not about following them, right? Because that could be a little weird.
Well, you know what it is? It's you study the religion or whatever, and then you take the best teachings out of it, and then it is my acknowledgement that by doing so, and then you gather all the most powerful information, and then you become purified. It's a conscious level of awareness, a conscious expansion, and so that's how I look at it. The more knowledge you have, the better you are. So that's why I look at it when it comes to spirituality, metaphysics, religion. They are all together. Science, even politics, civics. Perhaps that's a better word. So yeah.
Physics? Physics?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool. Like in science?
Yeah. Example. I mean, for me, it goes right back to nature all the time. The more that I study, the more that I read that it seems to be an expression of nature. That's all these religions, in some form or fashion. But not all of them are the same. But in some of them, they. Well, anyways, it is what it is. You just read them and then you just take them.
What religion are you reading about now?
Right now, I'm studying they're called Shiva Puranas.
What? Say that again?
Shiva Puranas.
The divas? The D-I-V-A diva?
Shiva Puranas.
Okay. Alright, what is, tell me a little bit about what they believe in. Just a little bit, because I don't want to get too crazy.
They teach about, example. I got a list right here I've been writing. So, they teach, awareness is constant. Peace is natural. Belief is unstable. Knowledge is direct. Knowledge removes fear. Fear of death is ignorance. Death does not affect awareness. They teach so many things. I got over 500 points that I made so far. Om represents vibration.
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, I got literally 500 points, but let me see. Karma is consequence. Karma follows action. Meditation is not belief. Belief is not knowledge. Consciousness is not matter. These are the titles of the subjects these are titled, and I will be expanding on each one. The ego is constructed. Silence reveals truth. The mind is changeable. Awareness is not created. Consciousness exists prior to form. Yeah, all these. Yep. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm reading about that right now. So, yeah. I put the link in the chat if you want to listen to them. They're audiobooks.
Okay, give me one moment.
Yep. So far, I like these the best, but so far, there's a lot of Vedas, so I haven't studied all of them yet. But these ones so far, I like a lot. I can say I'm enjoying very much. Yeah, I like the presentation. I like how it's written. Yeah, I really, but I mean, I mix it all together. Shamanism, animism, Sanatana Dharma, everything. Buddhism. I mean, I literally take from everything. I take the best. It's kind of like if you had a buffet and you pick the best food. You know. So yeah, that's how I look at it. So some of the food in the buffet I won't pick. I don't like it. And when it comes to the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, I'm not a fan. Because to me, when I compare these to other religions, they fall short when it comes to transcendental knowledge. And that's really what I've been studying a lot of, and where I can see the difference. They do chanting. I've done chanting before, but anyways, chanting, and we do mudras and mantras and yoga. So these are some of our practices. And we do idol worship. So, yep. Shamanism gets into ceremonies and rituals dealing with psychedelics. Ayahuasca ceremonies, psilocybin ceremony.
When you're going over a ceremony with somebody, do you ring a bell, bangle every so often?
So sometimes it depends on what type of tradition that ceremony is presenting based on the culture.
They're chat room right now who started chanting and raving and playing a triangle or ringing a bell, we might think of that as some kind of a ritual, or maybe on the off hand, I might think of that person as a crazy person. And I'm thinking of Congressman right now. He is a literal lunatic, crazy person.
Yeah. Oh, you went right
If anybody in the room is aware, Congressman is a troll, at the very least, but at the very most, a lunatic.
Seems you know him.
Sorry.
I made a comment on his PTR with that Civil War flag when compared
I apologize. It was the other way around. He's at the most, he's a troll. At the very least, he's a lunatic.
Oh yeah. No, I don't really know him. I did make a comment on his PTR. Civil War flag presenting the updated form of the Jolly Roger piracy citizenship, the updated slave ship. I made a comment, that's all. Oh yeah. I don't see the. Oh yeah. Hold on. Does he have that gold fridge around it? I can't see it that good. That's why. No, I can't see it. Doesn't look like there's a gold fridge around it though. Anyways. Oh yeah.
Dr. John, you were wondering the other day where in the Bible where it says that the devil killed anybody, right?
Yeah. I've been looking for that scripture forever. Meaning like the face front of it all, to say that there's little scripture where the devil's like, then the devil cut his head off and the head fell on the ground and rolled down the hill and blood splattered. You know, I was looking for that scripture. I was looking for a crime scene, but I didn't find anything. But if you have the key to the Bible, which is a more of a, I guess, Gnostic perspective or esoteric, whatever word you want to use, you can prove it. You can prove the whole book is all demonic, 100%. But I wasn't looking for that presentation, you know. I was looking for literally. I looked in Job. No, people were telling me go to Job. Sorry, they were wrong about that. I triple checked it. There literally is nothing according to my research. But hey, if anybody wants to present something, I will look it over. You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly updating. Update it. Life would be so boring if we didn't update. It's like, you know, stagnation of it all. Which Shah, I gave you that link, okay, on the bottom. And if the news that is dealing with the Shiva Puranas.
Oh, the religion that you're studying?
Yeah. Yeah, I gave you that, and you know, you can do what you want with that.
I'm gonna talk to you real quick.
Yeah. But
Put it in my
if you ask,
notes.
I don't know if I have a favorite.
If there's a hundred.
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I can say that I enjoy powwows and ceremonies with indigenous people. I can say that much. Yeah. And the drum. I love the drumming. I love the shamanic experience. I really enjoy that, really. Out of everything that I've studied.
Yeah. My neighbor, he has a drill. He's gonna come back. Thank you, loves. Thank you. You too. My phone? Yeah, I got it. Okay, thank you. Yeah. too.
So if you are going, John, if you're looking at Job 1 through 19, what you're going to find is that Satan kills around 10 people in the Bible. Now, is that really Satan that's killing them, or is it God allowing Satan to do it? Ultimately, it's God's decision here, because if God didn't want Satan to kill anybody, God wouldn't ask him or allow him to do it. So,
Please,
if we want to be like talking about,
I can give you money.
if we were talking about the proxy of it, it is mostly God who's doing
I
the
just
killing.
bought this car, so I need to go get all the
And maybe
tires.
Dr. John, you have Mon, maybe you might Sharia there. There we go, because she's got some background noise there. So it seems that both Satan and God share the blame or the quote credit for killing Job's children. But the tally there is 10. So if you want to know how many Satan has killed, the Bible does say it's 10. So.
Job, what? 1 through 19?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Ultimately, what we're seeing here is the bet between Job and God, and Job allows for certain people to die. Or, I'm sorry, the Satan allows for certain people to die in the story of Job. So, yeah, you have the devil or Satan killing some people, but the vast majority of people that are killed in the Bible, you can go up with a tally here. The tally is in somewhere up in the millions. We're talking like 25 million or more, at least that the Bible is noting that God is killed. You just go and add that up with all the countless number of people God's killed since the Bible and before the Bible, and God easily takes the cake on how many people he's killed. So if we're worried about Satan killing people, I wouldn't say anybody should be worried about Satan killing anybody. We should be worried about God doing the killing. If we're going to place blame on him and say that he's a moral or immoral character or something.
So interesting. I will look into that again to verify. At the same time, it is my acknowledgement that Satan is not the same thing as the devil. In my biblical study, whereas
you mince words and probably say one is one or the other is the other. What words mean this or that? But really, what we're referring to as Satan in the Bible is the adversary. We're talking about God's nemesis. You have God, and then you have his arch enemy, the devil, Satan, Beelzebub, whatever fucking word or term you want to call it. It's this evil entity that opposes God. But again, when you look at the narrative, it's not an opposition; it's more of a cooperation. God allows Satan to do these sort of things because if God didn't want Satan to do these things, he would not allow him to do it.
Yeah. So here's the thing, is that I found the word devils throughout the whole Bible. So now, when it says the devil, I'm like, that's just one of those devils. But here's the thing about it, I have not found the word Satan says many. So that's why I have separated the two. The claim that is made in John 8:44, Jesus says the devil was a murderer. So we have in Job the word Satan is used. So that's where I would say, well, I'm gonna look into it further and see if I can connect them all. So far, I cannot. Even when I went into the Greek, it was separating the two. So I don't know. Then I was like, fuck the Greek. Excuse my French, but because I was so sick and tired of all this, like, no, it's not the real meaning of it bullshit. I'm like, well, you know what? I just speak English, so if the translators got it wrong, go talk to them. That was just, a discussion I had with somebody who.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that because the Greek doesn't say that. That's what they always say.
There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters, that's 10 total. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord, Put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath in thy power only upon himself. Put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the four corners of the house. And it fell upon the young men, and they are dead.
The Bible Hubber quick on that. Hold on.
The current tally we have so far in this verse, God kills 2,121,364 people, and Satan has 10.
You know, I'm gonna look into that Satan, cause let me double check it again, cause that's interesting, because this would be the first.
Let's just go a little further. When the Bible doesn't say how many were killed, we try to provide a reasonable estimate. For example, the Bible says that Job's 10 children Satan's bet. The Bible also says that all of Job's servants, which were slaves, were killed, though it doesn't say how many. But since he was a wealthy man, the greatest man of all in the East, unquote, he probably had many servants. So we can at least guess about 50 servants were killed. So that means, here we are with this verse, God has now killed 25 million, and we have a tally of 60 killed by Satan. When there was no clear way to get a number from the Bible itself, we used estimates from the world population history in 1978 to go back to the population at that time.
John, you got any pushback on that?
I've done the Job breakdown before. I'm trying to look into it again.
Assalamu alaikum, Kufu.
On another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before them. Okay. And the Lord God said to Satan, Where have you come from? All right. Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. Okay. Oh, this is the wrong one. Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. 1 minute. Sorry about that. Okay. Does God fear? Okay, where's that one? So I gotta go to Job. Let me go check my other Bible. 1 minute, y'all. Pardon me.
Let's make it easy for you, Dr. John. You can see the posted link in the chat room.
Is the idea that because God is the ultimate authority on whether someone is permitted to live or die, that makes them morally culpable?
No, it's how God kills people. It will make him morally culpable. If God is just in doing it or not. If God is unjust in a killing, then that would make him morally culpable, or at least morally questionable, where you can at least say, yeah, I mean, God could have done that a different way. Surely he could have. And then really all we're down to is, why did God do it this way opposed to some other way? Is it necessary that God has to kill people this way in the Bible? Did he have to genocide all the people on the earth, or could he have just forgiven everybody? Does God have to be a hypocrite where he says, I'm going to forgive everybody, but then I'm going to wipe them all out on the earth? Or I'm going to wipe them all out and then I'm going to to forgive them? You know, which one or the other? The point is that could God have done it any other way? Could have God made everything where he didn't have to kill anybody? He didn't have to unjustly kill everybody.
So it's your position that either all or most of God's so-called killings are not justified, right?
No. What we'd have to do is we'd have to go with a case-by-case situation, and anything that is presented in the Bible, we would have to examine it to figure out whether it is morally repugnant or not. Usually what's going to happen is me as an outsider who has a brain, who can think about morality, I'm going to easily be able to say, yeah, that thing that God did is repugnant. It's bullshit. It's fucked up. But from a believer's point of view, from your side, if you were kissing God's ass, licking his taint and his balls, you got his balls deep in your mouth, you love him so much, you could never say God could ever be held accountable for anything. You could never admit God could ever do anything wrong. You could never, ever, in your mind, ever imagine that God could be the bad guy here. Always and forever, in your mind, in your belief, in your view, God is always the good guy.
If that were my position, you'd be able to identify it by the reasons that I give for that position, but that's not necessarily my position.
That's right. I don't know your particular position, but the position of most believers, of Christians, are that they are going to not say that God is the bad guy. Because why? Why would they do that? They would not be a Christian if they think that the God that they believe and worship was not the good guy. They wouldn't be a Christian, obviously. So yeah. So I don't have to really know your position specifically to know that you're full of shit, to know that you're going to stand by morally repugnant sort of defenses. I already know it. I can already anticipate it. I can bet on it right now in the room. I could say to everybody in the room, watch me. I'm going to put a bet down right on the table. $50. Crimsonite's going to say some stupid fucking bullshit that's going to defend some horrible thing that the God does. And sure enough, you'll do it.
Well, if you're going to make a bet like that, you have to be clear in saying that the bet is that I'm going to use some ad hoc reasoning to try to support God, that is God's actions, that is to say.
Post hoc, not ad hoc. Post hoc.
Yeah, okay. That justifies his actions, which are contradictory to his own standards. So, I mean, you can
I wouldn't have to do any of that.
Question to you.
I wouldn't have to do any of that. All I would have to do is, from my own moral, subjective point of view, I would have to point at any action that is done, and I can say, that's immoral. That's all I have to do. I don't have to do any of the bullshit you just said. Not one.
My question to you was simply whether your view is that all the pain and suffering that has occurred on this planet is morally attributed to God. And you said it would have to be on a case-by-case basis, so I'm just curious to know whether your position is such that most or all of God's permissive killings were unjustified. And so far as I can tell,
we're going to have to go over that. Yeah, we'd have to figure that out. Because if we're saying, let's say God in the Bible is killing or taking out some kind of a rapist or a thief or a murderer or something like that, somebody who in our modern day we would imagine, yeah, that person is sort of just or justified in that, then yeah, we can at least say, yeah, that seems reasonable or right. But to kill an individual, we learn, no, we don't even really do that. We treat people with some kind of dignity. We throw them in jail, and we don't just execute people summarily. So even in that context, we would have to have any action that God takes in the Bible, we're going to case by case to figure out, is that action moral or not? Yeah. Really all we're doing is we're boiling it down to show that everybody in the room can recognize